Hey people, this memory come up on my Facebook, and I thought y'all enjoyed seeing what the word alien actually means. I'm gonna read these two lines in the Hebrew and in the Greek. It's always talking about Moses' men came out of the mountains, but when they sent, they're always sail, and it has several words in here that they give different meanings to this time to make them all fit. They say the dibber can mean anything, and then down here it becomes the plan. So this came near, it's the same as the Latin, Greek, what for, WT, what, and QR is for. And so what for boon, a Boon Ali. And that's, a yes vote for Boon Ali. Boon Ali is a flexion of boonal, a stick used in beating or whipping. What for Boon Ali. And the little markup here has you read this again, like, LIKLKS. What for Boon Ali, likes. And for a beating, likes. What and the R you reading over here, runs lean, LHEAN. Runs leans is slipping in. What for boonily likes? What runs lean? Ain't had in a while. Runs lean, see slipping in. Slipping in a, and which, WICH, which for, and which for willing what hearts, what loves, what hearts who sieve, and what, WAT, what in, and what in wood of her at the dark, a cern all have, what, the whores, what hoary, like a factory, is where that comes from. And what hoary says running. What hoary says running. And so this alien reads with this A here. A is, the AILIEN. And it's the alien. It's a strange brew, and it's carbon. It's a carbonated. And what the carbonali likes the beer. What old Carbonali likes. He likes the beating. And so this ancient code for liking the carbonated brew. And what Carbonali likes. What runs lean, ain't got much. What's leans is lipping in. His lips on and lipping in. He runs leans. He putting it on a tab. Runs leans is slipping in. And which prove, and when you read it with the upper marks, so you read it backwards, which prove in Len what, and shares the arts, which will prove in when Len what shares the arts. Wishing what in whatever, at carded, at KRDE, that carded, carditor, cashier, null, zero, null in what, we should go up, you're in the hole, null in what, Hoary says, what Hoary says, run in the alley. And so it's reading two different stories. When you're reading with the mark, it's at shares arts. When you're just reading straight through, it's the proven at hearts who sieve what new. Sieve what new, the nude bear, a dauber. At the dark is run all. At the dark is run all have what? The dark is run all have what Tories as running alien and is running B-A-I-L, the Balian. And so they get you drunk, get you laid, run your bill up. You couldn't pay it, they'd sell you to a captain who's run the bail. You didn't get out of jail till you paid your bar note. I don't know if we still this day, but yeah, the captain will always have to go get everybody out of jail before he left port. He had to pay everything up. The towns loved to see us come. Don't matter how drunk you got, what you did. You know, everything got paid for. And you just didn't leave that boat till it was paid off. And Wyatt envoying. You know, this is where they get in, and please well me, boing, boing. You know, in who it in boing. But this is V, voying and seeing. In who it in voying. Had brew a fuck. Had brew. The B-R-U-A. The brew of fuck. And this is, and they took them wives, you know, the QH. And brew of fuck makes the signs as Rancy says. As Rancy says. S-A-Y-S. The signs as Rancy says ahead. Less of it. You know, why it in, who it in voying, who it in seeing, had brew a fuck, you know, had brew a take, I didn't pay, fucked you, had brew a fuck, makes signs as Rancy. Rancy is the bouncer. You got your ransom, you're not getting out. You know, that's where your word ransom comes from. But this is Rancy. Rancy says is the ransom is. The ransom is what Rancy says. Ahead a less of it. Ahead a less of it. And that's, you know, the first day, you know, that's the first thing you have to learn is ahead. A carbonated brew. You know, the plan was though dine and dash. But his card wasn't no good. You know, with a voying had brew a fuck, makes signs as Rancy's, you know, at the doorman, as Rancy says, and hatched less of it. And so with that little line up here, you know, it's what Carbonalic likes. You know, his name is Boonall, and he's always getting the Boonley, getting the beating. Because he's liking the carbonally. Because of what him runs leans is slipping and not paying his bar tab. And then there's a lot more to the story. When you read the lower markings, this mark under here says it turns around backwards. And it's, you know, the dot and the T, what of. And what of the RVR, the river put when of when. What of the river put would have been. You don't pay your bar tab, and that's what of the river put when of when. Then over in the Greek, it's all proper. You know, it's the forsal date, you know, and came forward. And the forsal date, and this isn't me, this is EM, them. And the forsal datum of, if on its surmise. You know, the O is of, and the I is reading here, IF. If on it some surmise, and you all, you know, add it all up, get the sum. If on it surmise, to they, you know, vav, connected to they fate. What you, and let me add it all up. Surmise to your fate of. A post style, you know, a post to come after, a post style, and they're getting that send out of that, a post style, amen. It's also where you're getting your word, you know, of hostile. Nobody's happy when they get a post bill. And the rasper at here who's coming, and rasper at here who's coming. It was Rancy here in the Hebrew. The Greeks got a different name. They say Andra means protector, but that's what this is. Pro, for in front of the protor, who's in front, or who's coming. They coming to guard the door. You ain't running out without paying your bill. And if on it surmised to they fate of hostile men, and rasper it here who's coming, and the code who's at has on coming a tingeon. So the code, this is the Fedesh, that's the holy ones, all through the Hebrew, the code, that's government, the code. And the code who is at is on coming, the tingeon. You go get a tinge on our colors. And on angel it who's on coming. And so this is your word for English right here. The AGG is the ANGEIL. On the angel. On the English it is in coming. A fucker is in. FOKRIS. A fucker is in. A fucker is in 10. What I planned on doing. On 10, adding the day. And you don't see it here, but it's reading with this in Septuagint, most likely what this mark means up here. And part of this reading twice. And a fucker is in 10 add-on. The day is on a vessum with. On a vessum, on a film met, and film with. And the AE, comes to ES. On a film is not, NAUT. On a vessum with, in not. What as follies. His as this poor who's with a meta with and not what as follies, and don't mess up his as his poor, his the one who's pouring your beer, his poor who's with, and the AE reading is the ES, is his oughtas, what you ought to do. So it's somebody getting schooled, tell them this is what you ought to do. You don't want all this to go down. And here is having Antion, and here is in the EN is reading as a V, do this E here, and having Antion. And here is having Antion and not doing this, them of to ream. The ream well of on. And here is having Antion and not doing this, them of to ream well of on, it's whom on you, whom on. And ream means up your ass, and ream well of on, it's whom on, a dodeca andros. Well above its sum, the key reads as a vav, a W, and well above its summon to tellin raise and reason, an act of fooling, to AKAT, to act it of fooling, and the reason is to act it of fooling. And because you've been acting a fooling, you get according to Akkad. And they give several different words for tribe. That makes me think, if you look up the word for, and these are the tribes of, it's probably a list of things that's according to act of fooling. And a força datum of if on it surmise. And they fate apostle, and late they, and heil them in, and post heil them in, and come in late, and rasp it here, who's, and talking with a raspy voice. You know, the big guy with the deep raspy voice, you know, and rasper it here who's coming. And the coat who's at, you know, and the coat. The D is the T. The coat is the coat you wear. And the coat who's at is on 'em in a tinging. And, you know, you hit the ground, all your stains, you know, if you're wearing white, everything on the ground has a different tinge, a tinging. And the coat who has it on has come in a tinging. And on the angel lay it who's on coming, a fucker is in. So, you know, that means it takes something without paying for it, trying to screw somebody, exactly what it means. A fucker is in 10. And the Adam day is, you know, and this is through, and through means, you know, the point through that day. You know, an Adam a day is on, vesum with, have fillum with, is not what follies his as his poor who's with, is his bartender. Don't piss off your bartender, his orders, because old Raspy will catch you at the door. And here is having in niche, and this is reading as, you know, Evenanti, and then an Ovem of them, you know, and here is having a niche of them, a niche of them of, you know, to get it started, having a problem, initiative. And here is having a niche of them of to ream. Well, Avon, it's summon to take and raise and reason act of fooling. And so it's got a lot more meaning. You know, Ali is an Arab name meaning a noble son. You know, and what for? You know, before ahead, I tell you, I warn you before. What for, Ben? You know, what forbid? What for, Ben? Ali. The clicks, what am a run? The clicks, what am a runs lean, and leans is slipping and thieving. Oh, Ali. And so you don't want to become an alien where everybody shuns you, you know, an alien, you know, and carded her, the cashier, and null have, you know, backwards, EVE, and null have what whore is as, or what whore is as run in alien. You don't pay your tab, you can't get back in the whorehouse. But yeah, this word dauber, you know, they don't know what it means. And they'll come close to the word, this base word for number, and they'll give it things. And here, the dauber, the plan. That's the first time I've seen that. But this is what it's talking about. This is dauber over here. This is the word. This is the man with the gold chain. He's running things. This Rancy over here. You know, this is Rancy, and this is Boone Ollie. And this is as run of all what whore is, the city. You know, and at the dark, the word at the dark has run all, have what whore is as run in alien. So, you know, that's the sign. All these UFOs flying around these days, you know, they come into the cities. The whores as run. The whores is running the cities. The whores is running the alien. You know, 3,000 years ago, they thought aliens were running your cities. And so after making all this and looking at it, I could see, you know, that this 12, this is total, T-O-T. And I tell you this EK is the L, you know, of, the tote of. And the total and raise and reason act of fooling, you know. And so old Raspy, he done got you over there cornered up, you know. You can pay the total bill and the raise, and you'll give him a reason why you act a fooling. And And here is having a ish of 'em to ream well of its summon, well, this is a V here, well, and above its summon. You're gonna pay well above what your ticket was of the total, and a raise, and a reason, act a foolin'. A forceful datum of upon it is surmise, and they fate apostolatum. This is apo is away. You can read it as a waste. It's waste style of men. Send them away. Postulum in the ones you don't want it around. And raise proturus who's coming. This OUS, this is the man part of it, is who's. And this is what he's doing. And raise. And pro, is for in front. And, turos, they'll say that means the high or most, higher. And raise front more coming, and the rasper, the biggest coming. Your man, it's up here in front of you. Oh, Raspy. You should send men in front. Oh, Andre Raspy, a tourist. And the coat who's has on come in tingin, and an angel at his on 'em in, a fucker is in 10, had in die, run through your sword, had in die is, your date. And a vessum with is not in what as follies his as, his bartender, his poor who's with his orders. Similar to the follies. This is about what it's like, and what as follies his as his poor who's with, as stiffen your bartender, his orders. So I believe what they did, they flipped it around here, and this reads apostolate instead of proselyte. It means the reverse, apostolate, and turn your back on. And turn your back on them upon it a surmise. And they fate away style of men. And rasp roturos, come on. And the coat who's it has on, come in tingin, and an angel it has on coming. In the Greek, the word angelic, that's English, and it used to mean the people. And an angel it has on coming. A poker is in 10. A poker is in 10. Adding through is. So the English was coming with a red hot poker, asking questions, wanting answers. And adonde, that's Spanish for where is. Undonde is on a vessum with, on a film with, is not what as follies his, as his poursum who's with his orders. So I'm gonna cut this off here. I shouldn't be getting much up. I got 8 weeks to be relocated. I got a lot of stuff to move. So you might not hear from me for a while. But the new place should be much quieter. Alright, good day.